Well, there he is, Kieran Foran. We've heard from him earlier on. Welcome back to the show for a Tuesday night. Plenty going on in the world of sport. We're going to get to the boxing a little bit later on as well. Talk about that loss between Tim Zhu and Sebastian Fundora. Michael Zarafa knocked out in the second round. Reptile, I've seen your message. We're going to get to it very soon. But this man's played 284 NRL games, 30 tests for the Kiwis. Played some All-Star matches as well, 2 premierships with these mighty Sea Eagles. One
premiership, yeah.
What do you mean?
One. I wish I had 2.
Did you not get 11?
11, yep.
No, what about 8?
No, I wasn't there in 8.
Oh, you left.
Yeah, no, I debuted in 9.
Oh, you did too.
Yeah.
You did too.
Yeah, would have been nice.
Good research there,
just
Sats.
rubbed it in.
Good stuff.
Yeah, see,
I thought I'd correct.
I'm doing
the.
I've got none, so just get off the premiership stuff and move on.
Yeah. Did you bring your ring in? Yeah, premiership ring? No, okay. Yeah. Now, obviously, with your 30 tests for New Zealand, growing up in Auckland, what was it like rugby league in Auckland as a kid?
Yeah, it was. Well, I'm a passionate Kiwi. You know, I was born there, and my family were avid All Black fans. You know, as most Kiwis are, they're big on their rugby union, and the All Blacks have been such a great team for such a long time. So, yeah, it was just All Black everything in our house as a kid, and then we used to obviously watch the New Zealand Warriors and the Kiwis play, and yeah, I knew from a very young age that I just wanted to be like those guys on TV.
What about moving over to Australia? I was reading when you were going to, was it high school? Did you go to high school with Mitch?
Yep.
Because you're good mates with Mitch Pearce. You have been ever since your teenage years. But so you went to the same high school together?
Primary school as
well.
Yeah, so we moved over, and we moved to the North Shore in Sydney, and we went to St Ives North Primary, and it was a heavily dominated rugby union area.
Right.
And me and my brother were leagueies, and obviously we rocked up to school, and someone mentioned that Wayne Pearce's son went to the school, and straight away we struck up a friendship with Mitch, and ended up finishing our years of primary school together, and then going on to high school together and playing rugby league all through our high school years, and struck up. We're still, best mates now.
So was rugby ever an option for you as a youngster?
Never, no. Well, where I grew up in New Zealand, a place called Ellerslie.
Near the racetrack there.
Yeah, so Ellerslie, everyone knows Ellerslie racetrack.
Yeah.
But we lived just up the road from Ellerslie Eagles Rugby League Club. And, it was just sort of a natural thing to the moment I could walk and throw a pair of footy boots on was to go and enroll down at the league club. And, good friends of ours were involved with the club. And, we hit it off with rugby league straight away.
Yeah. So, mate, your debut into first grade, you're obviously you're a part of Manly. That you watch them win 40-0 grand final against Melbourne the year before. So you're coming into a powerhouse side in 2009. Do you remember how that went down? Like how you got told, or was it a big moment, or was it someone got injured, or was it something that just sticks in your mind?
Yeah, I do remember it, Rad. I'd been signed at Manly since I was a 16-year-old, and I'd been coming through their junior system, played under 18s, and then gone into the Toyota Cup system with Daly and a few other players. And yeah, we were just, I guess, learning our craft there and trying to, become as good a footballers as we could, and aspiring to be a part of that NRL team one day. And I came straight out of high school and went straight into a full-time contract. So I was training with the boys straight away. And then it was, just a matter of proving myself and earning the respect of the guys. And, I just worked bloody hard my first pre-season, and I was, back playing 20s, and then eventually a few injuries came about, and Desi called me up for my debut in round 15 of 2009.
What was it like running out there with the likes of Chocky Watmow and, these Manly icons, the Stewart brothers, and, it would have been pretty daunting, I imagine.
Group, weren't they?
Yeah.
I still remember, in the sheds before the game, that was the biggest moment. That was when it hit me because, those guys I'd idolised, I'd looked up to them coming through. I was a Manly junior, and the next minute, I'm sitting in the sheds putting my socks and boots on, and I got Jason King and Brent Kite and Anthony Watmow and the Stewart boys and Matt I all getting ready around me, and I just thought, geez, this is unbelievable. And I was nervous as all hell, but luckily I went out there. I scored about 5 minutes into the match, and all the nerves went away, and I just felt at home.
Was there a first grade? We ask all our guests this. Was there a first grade moment that sticks out? Like it might be the crowd, it might be an opposition player that's maybe hit you hard.
Welcome to first grade.
Yeah.
I remember I was marking big Tommy Leroy Lars.
Oh, yeah.
He was a big unit, and I remember Desi had said to me through the week, "You're going to have to put your body in front of this bloke because he's going to keep coming." And I remember just hitting him a few times low and sort of feeling, geez, I'm handling this okay at the moment. But like I said, I was fortunate enough to come into a really established side, and I was surrounded by plenty of guys that had success and been there and done it on the big stage, and it certainly calmed my nerves a lot coming into NRL.
Yeah, you mentioned Desi, which you've had a great relationship with throughout your career. I hear stories about Desi chasing players on the training paddock when they've done something wrong. Has that happened?
True story, yeah. It does happen. He does chase players if he's on one and someone stuffs up or doesn't take a short side the way he would like. He's certainly marched after them, hurling all sorts of things. But he's oh look, mate, there's no one more passionate than Desi. I mean, he is just an out and out winner. He works his backside off to get the results that he needs to get, and his players absolutely love playing for him because he's got that sense of humour. He can spray players and give them an absolute gobful, but then in the next breath he can put an arm around them and tell them how much he believes in them and loves coaching them.
Yeah, we've got some of our listeners. They're pretty big on your followers. One of them's just texted in 133. He says, My favourite Kieran Foran playing moment is his goal conversion attempt right in front when playing for the Dogs. Not easy to miss from directly in front. Met him once, great guy.
Yeah, it never got off the tarmac. I just laid it a little bit too flat. Mate, I do remember it. I hear about it all the time. It's a horrible, mate.
Explain it to me.
You ever had 45,000 fans laugh at you? Mate, you know what? I've never been a natural kicker, and goal kicking, certainly far from it. And Moses and he got knocked out. He got HIA the first minute of the game. And I don't know why, but I put my bloody hand up for the goal kicking. I'd done no practice over the pre-season, nothing. And, I put my hand up, and I was an anxious goal kicker at the best of times. And, I put the ball too flat, 10 out, mate, and it didn't make the crossbar. It's gone under it.
That's a beauty.
Yeah.
That's a beauty. Now, mate, wanted to chat on last year on the Pacific Championships. A tough start, and I remember speaking to you at the end of last year about that game. In the lead up to the final, and the Aussies didn't put a full strength side on against you guys, and I felt like it probably rubbed you guys up the wrong way because you said and they beat you, but they didn't, and it seemed convincing, but it wasn't. And anybody who knows rugby league knew. And then you went out in the final, and you've absolutely just wiped the floor with them. Tell us about what that camp was like, and even playing under Madge.
Yeah, look, one of the best campaigns I've been involved in. Certainly one of the proudest moments of my career, that campaign, honestly. I didn't even think I'd get the call up at the end of last year. And then Madge, look, I've got a great relationship with Madge. He's a wonderful, wonderful man and a great coach. And he gave me a call at the end of last season and just asked me how the body was feeling. And then he said, how would you feel about coming in and playing a bit of nine? We're short on hookers. And, we'd lost, I think, Brandon Smith, Jeremy Marshall-King, Phoenix Crossland. They were all unavailable. And I'd filled in doing that role in the World Cup, only for sort of 15, 20-minute stints. And, he asked me how I'd feel about it. And I said, look, mate, I'll jump at the opportunity. I absolutely love playing for my country. I love playing, representing New Zealand. And, look, that campaign, like I said, was great. And the way it panned out was perfect for us. I mean, we went in there with the intention of beating Australia twice. We wanted to do it. That was always the intention. We said we're sick of this philosophy that New Zealand can only beat them once, and so we went to Melbourne in that second game, with the full intent of beating them. And to be honest, I didn't think we were too far off.
No, you weren't.
And then we got absolutely crucified in the media, and that struck us the wrong way too. I think if you read the headlines after the game, it was, Australia blew New Zealand off the park, absolutely tormented them. I mean, it was 16-12 with 12 minutes to go or something. So we were right in that game, and we didn't play to our potential, and we knew that. So we went away that next week. We reviewed that game heavily, as Madge does, and we looked at the areas that we didn't quite get right in Melbourne. And I just had this feeling all week we were going we were going to be on. I knew it. We went there with the intent in game 2 to get it. It didn't happen. We pulled it apart. We thought, nah, now we've got their measure. We know where we need to fix it. And look, as rugby league happens, we just got everything right on the day, and it was a great, great feeling.
It was a great game, game. Now, we're going to ask you one more question. We'll get to a quick break, and we'll finish the chat with Foz off before the end of the first hour. James Fisher-Harris, when he got named as captain, everyone sort of thinks, well, he's this quiet, sort of unassuming guy who's one of the best front rows in the game, but he doesn't come across to me as a leader of sorts when you put the C next to his name. But I've spoken to a few players since, and they said just inspirational.
Truly inspirational. Yeah, look, he leads in his own way, Fish. As you said, he's unassuming. He's naturally a pretty quiet guy, and he's a man of few words. But when he does talk, he has the room. Everyone stands still and listens, and he commands that respect because of what he's done in the game and the way in which he's performed week in, week out. And, there was no better leader for our country at the moment than James Fisher-Harris.
Now, before we get to break, Cam on the text line says, boys, can you ask Kieran if he knows a story about the Manly boys kidnapping Dez's shoes and holding them for ransom? So he had a pair of shoes he wore to all the big games, didn't he?
Yeah, they used to play plenty of pranks on him. I think he had the same pair of shoes for a number of years, and the boys used to pinch them and throw them up on the roofs and all of that and hide them. I tell you, they used to. The other thing they used to do was go and pinch his car and drive it round the Narrabeen Academy and hide it somewhere. And he couldn't find his car for hours after training and things like that. They were absolute beauties, the Stewart boys. They would pull pranks on him non-stop. It was great.
Oh, good stuff. Let's get to a break on Sports Day. Sats and Rat. Kieran Foran in the studio with us, and we'll finish off the chat after when we come back. We're here with Kieran Foran, who's joining us. We're here till the end of this first hour. It's great that you come in, Foz. Thank you very much for taking the time out, wandering around outside.
I'm still
like
taking
no one
your
knows
cash on
you.
Thursday, though.
Now, let's keep chatting about his great career to date.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask, you've had obviously a lot to do with Madge as the New Zealand coach. What have New South Wales supporters got to look forward to with Madge going into that role? What does he get out of his players that's probably might be different to other coaches you've played under?
There's a couple of things, Rat. I think first and foremost, he believes in his players a lot. So he'll build a lot of belief in the roster that he picks, and he'll wholeheartedly believe that. He won't pick anyone that he does not believe can't get the job done against Queensland. Secondly, he's very detailed in his approach. He'll give them the correct plan. He'll pull Queensland apart in terms of what New South Wales have got to focus on to nullify, their, I guess, gun players and things like that. And culturally, he'll build a really good culture. And he's done that with New Zealand. I've seen him do that. When he came in as coach in New Zealand, we had sort of been through a bit of a rough trot culturally. And, mate, he came in, he basically brought in a no dickhead policy. He wanted everyone to buy into the same processes, the same, beliefs and things like that. And, I watched that absolutely grow year after year after year, and it's to the point where it's in such a great spot now, New Zealand Rugby League. So I think, that's what New South Wales have got to look.
Yeah, as a Queensland,
I'm nervous.
That
makes me nervous hearing that.
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous until you started then, Foz. So.
Now, Mike on the text line says, was Foz there when Des ripped the door off at Parramatta? I know Jamie Lyon was. He nearly copped it.
Yeah, I was there. That was my second year of first grade. That was 2010, and I was still new to that side, and he flung that door pretty hard, and it ripped off. And you can always remember Jamie Lyon having a bit of a giggle.
Yeah. Now let's touch on the Titans. Things aren't going great in the first 4 rounds, and Des, new coach to the club, he's obviously he picks up the rubbish bin and tosses it all on the table and works it all out, which takes a while. Tell Titans fans who are listening why you think this will get better.
Yeah, look, it's been incredibly frustrating, and I can understand everyone's frustration at the moment. This start to the season hasn't been what we all wanted. What I can say is that Desi works tirelessly along with the other coaches to improve our game and to make us the footy team that we want to hopefully become and become a heavyweight in the competition. And the players are working tirelessly as well. Look, we're probably unrealistic to think that it was going to happen straight away.
Yep.
I know that, we've been on the fringe for the last couple of years and trying to improve, and it hasn't quite happened. But, internally, you can feel a shift going on. There is a shift happening. You know, we are making improvements, even though it doesn't look that way. And I know the 30 points a game looks bad, and it doesn't make people, you know, from the outside feel like we're improving. But when you sit through it and you pull it apart the way in which we do through the week, you can see that there's some things doing that are going to hold us in really good stead for the rest of the season and many more years to come. And it's got to be a big picture approach. Yes, we'd love to have won the first 3 games and be sitting pretty up the top of the ladder. But at the end of the day, there's still 21 games left. And
mate, there were some good signs at the start of that game against the Dolphins. You had some opportunity. You took some opportunity. You got up to a lead. I would say, you know, your forwards, they're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure. Look, and this is what we're trying to, I guess, establish as a footy team. We're trying to become better at defensively front loading and putting a lot of effort into our D. And we probably haven't quite learned how to manage our attack under that fatigue. And last year, you know, we were, I guess people would say we were attacking great, but we had a lot of energy for attack. We're definitely putting a lot more energy into our D, and as a result, it's probably affecting our attack a little bit. But we will adjust to that. I know we will, because we're doing all the right things, and we're going to get there. And I need to tell people to hold the belief it will turn.
Okay.